Magical weapons are probably one of the easiest things to homebrew. All you have to do is just take one of the base weapons from the PHB, add a bonus, flavor it to make it look cool, and you're basically good. But here are a couple interesting magical weapons that you can add to your campaign to maybe spice up the drudgery of +1 swords. Number 1. The Flying Sword. This is something I pretty much came up with on the spot during the campaign. I was running a 2-player game. The players had just been captured and needed to fight their way out of a dungeon. And I wanted to give them each a magical item after that whole scenario. But I only had one ready, so I came up with this one on the fly after flipping through the magical items in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Basically, it's a dancing sword, but it acts like another member of your party. The way it works is, it stays sheathed on the user's body for most of the time until you engage in combat. Then the sword will fly out of the scabbard and begin attacking the enemies. I usually have the owner roll initiative for the sword, but I usually run all the combat from the sword's perspective, just treating it like an NPC that's with the party that can only do 1d6 damage. You can buff the damage a bit if you think 1d6 is a little bit too lame. You could even give it a bonus against a certain kind of creature to flavor it more. But that's basically the gist of it. Number 2. The Midas Blade. This sword also gets called the Money Blade by my players because that's what it is. When you deal the killing blow to a creature with this blade, you roll a d10, and then you gain that many gold pieces. You can flavor it a little bit even to say that the gold pieces have a little caricature of whatever you killed on them. This is a pretty easy way to make sure your players have a relatively steady stream of money, especially when you're in a campaign that requires a lot of money, like if you're using Matt Colville's Strongholds and Followers rules, where you're always needing money to repair your fortress and stuff. By the way, you should definitely go and buy Strongholds and Followers. It's pretty great. I pre-ordered the hardcover and I've read the PDF like 3 times. I love it. Number 3. The Wild Blade. This one is definitely one of my favorite swords I've ever homebrewed, just because of how weird it is. Basically, I got the idea of contained wild magic, where at some point in the past, there was some smith or some wizard that knew how to contain wild magic and harness it using bladed weapons. But unfortunately, that technology has been lost to time, and now only the weapons remain. When you hit an opponent with this weapon, you roll on this bonus table using a d12, and then you add that bonus to your attack roll. This is pretty neat, because it adds a little bit of mystery to each attack. Like, am I gonna shoot lightning, or is it gonna acid him? Is it gonna freeze him, or is it gonna burn him? And it makes it really interesting for your players. The player that got this from the campaign really liked it, and I've used it in a couple other ones, and it's really neat. An interesting way to show the magical abilities of these weapons is to not tell them right away what they do. Have them find the weapon, notice that it has some kind of ethereal otherworldly quality, and then when they go to use it, its effects are shown. For example, you could have the Midas Blade. You go to stab it, and if they kill the creature, have gold pieces show up. With the Wild Blade, roll behind the screen after they deal an attack, and then say that the blade shoots lightning. Then, over a couple encounters, the players will start to know, oh, this blade turns people into money, or oh, this blade does random magic. And then you can give them the table to roll for the bonus when they attack. That gives them a sense of progression, because it feels like they've learned something about the world and about the weapons they're using. It's harder to do with the flying sword. I guess you could have the player draw it, and you go to attack, but the sword just kind of flies away and stabs someone else. That would be kind of funny. Anyways, thank you for watching. This has been Spirit of the Dice, and I will see you later, adventurers.